which team has the edge, Pledge?
Very clearly, Last Man Standing seems to be a little bit of a fan favorite. As I said when I spoke about everything earlier, 90 degrees so far, they've been more stable than everything else, and they're going to try to play their way through onto this one. Badlands is going to be the first map, ladies and gentlemen, as Last Man Standing in the blue and 90 degrees FOV eSports in the red are going to make their way through. Badlands, as I said, the first map, and with the first middle going live, Mr. Slin is going to be able to take this away for you guys.
Yeah, Red Devilman just hiding in his house. It looks like blue players are diving in to try and take down Forsaken there, but he actually gets denied by Rake. Meanwhile, Soldiers bombing in. That's going to be Salmon up in the air, and Suckber goes down. Actually, as Rekko pushes across and takes him out. Sort of a slow mid developing. Blue team actually playing pretty well with the heals, and Warhuya takes down Salmon. It looks like a scout snuck up from underneath. Rake takes down White Glow. Warhuya and Mighty V goes down here as well here. So it looks like the medic combo for, what was it, 90 degree FOV?
Yeah. Just 90 degrees. I think 90 degrees will be perfectly fine. They used to be called Finland, so that you probably know. Oh yeah, that was that team with Darn, right? Like, yeah, it was that team. He got removed from a team, and this is the result, basically, is that they're still sitting around on that bottom of the table side. They pick up the first middle, though. Suicide comes in. Great shot. Is the Uber going to get forced off? No, it is not. And it was a good effort from Forsaken. In the end, though, it's not going to work out. Goss is going to make his way towards a map back. I'm quite sure 90 degrees is going to make their way throughout the Spire. They're going to push reset, though, it looks like it here. I don't like that decision. No risk with snipers whatsoever.
Yeah, I really like this move that Suckber is doing. He's pushing his way across the flank with his combo, sticking out the scout there, and actually allowing his team to capture second point for free. Now they're going to have this Uber advantage to about 25%. Oh, nice trap by Mighty Me on the door to take down Captain Hacks, but still, they're going to go with it anyways. 90 degrees pushing their way in towards last LMS, trying to defend this. The Uber is popped now by the red team, but White Glow is going to get this Uber in time, so not really the sort of rapid push that we needed to see from 90 degrees, and LMS now trying to push their way back out.
Yeah, it looks like 90 degrees definitely backing out of this one. They didn't lose a single player, though, while Sickless went down on the other side. Let's see, are they going to try and put some pressure? Like, this is one thing. If Last Man Standing overextends with one player, that really could spell the end of that point for them. But in all honesty, they're going to sit all the way back with 25% onto White Glow. They do actually have quite a significant disadvantage coming up here.
Yeah, now it looks like 90 degrees are considering doing something bottom right. They got both their soldiers in the combo, trying to leverage something on that bottom right door, but Forsaken and Mighty Me completely denied Captain Hacks there, so that's gonna fail. Meanwhile, Koss is just seconds away from getting Uber, and White Glow is just trailing behind, but with that nice pick, I think LMS should be able to hold on the last just a little bit longer.
Well, they're going to run with a spy. I'm a little bit surprised by that because the Uber is actually ready to rock and roll here as they come in. You're going to try and make a play for that point. Look at that, they're rushing it. Uber comes out. Now for White Glow and the rest of Last Man Standing make their way through the middle area. It is a 2-for-2 exchange at the moment as Rekko goes down, but everyone else manages to clean up. Sickless and Mighty Me getting a couple of frags in there. They're going to make their way through now from the balcony. It doesn't look, I'm looking just to be sure, no, there's nothing behind them whatsoever. And 90 degrees FOV, and I think they're just too far out of position right now against that scout on top of that Spire to actually block this one to even contest it.
I was a little bit disappointed with that spy play. It was a bit off timing, but the rest of the players from LMS were able to just come through. Mighty Me really doing a great job of sticking out that choke, and now you see the blue team able to break out a last and hold on to second point here. Koss, again, with a little bit of Uber advantage, about 30% there, and we should be seeing a push from them any moment now, but Koss is just chilling it. He's not really buffing his players. You don't see him looking like he wants to make a move, and I don't think he realized that he had such a large advantage. Yeah,
like, obviously, they pop their Uber early on last, right? And then obviously the counter Uber comes out later, and if you keep on building, you're gonna have an advantage, but it's always a little bit tough to judge, because how much did they not build, right? That's a little bit of the call as now goes down, with both soldiers actually down here. In all honesty, I think Last Man Standing should just run their way back to last. They can try and poke, they can try and force that Uber out of cost, but really dropping back to last is probably the wise move here, leaving that Spire to be picked up by the Reds.
Yeah, big mistake there from the soldiers, trying to force the Uber in the house rather than being patient and waiting for the push. Meanwhile, Sickless does pick up a kill on Salmon, but that's not going to be enough. Blue team, LMS, gonna have to pull back to last. And now we see sort of an even Uber happening, and that's kind of a disappointment. You know, they had a really nice push out of last, and they just threw it away right there.
Right, I see the Last Man Standing just gathering themselves up. The full 100% Uber charge is ready. No weird classes whatsoever. Standard double scout, double soldier coming out from both sides. Rekko right now picking up that heavy weapons guy, though. Before they push, he kind of needs to go and get a buff. He doesn't get the buff, that's for sure. There's 150 HP basically missing from that lineup. Both Ubers get exchanged. And I love how aggressive Last Man Standing here. They realized their Uber advantage was significant enough, and they dropped back out before they lose any players. That was a good exchange, and now with the medic going down due to the assassination of Sickles, who's raining havoc across that balcony now, gets 2 down. In the end gets picked off though, but it is 1 scout still alive here.
Damn it, going for the back half though. He's going through the bottom right to try and challenge the last soldier on the point. Can he get this? No, he's in a lot of trouble, but nice job throwing rockets. Forsaken able to deny that though, but a really nice try by him still. Blue team absolutely destroyed 90 degrees on their push out, and LMS now have the second point.
Yeah, it was very well played by them. The coordination was correct, and with Forsaken not losing out on the duel last, or even a couple of stickies on that last point. So honestly, even when if Forsaken would have lost that, I think they still would have been marginally okay. But the risk obviously got denied. Forsaken took it off, and I would rate going down to the hands of Recco, and 90% Uber ready to rock and roll here. I think Last Man Standing is going to try and take this one without actually using that Uber. Let's see if 90 Degrees is going to let them. It looks like it, because both of their scouts are actually down here.
Dude, Recco put the team on his back there, like a solo play out of Valley, taking down the sniper and the scout. There's no scouts alive for 90 Degrees now, and looks like the combo's just going to push right in there for LMS. Nice pop. I don't know about that. Questionable, actually, but Koss able to pop it with just 11 health, so just milking it away. But nothing's going to come of that. Actually, LMS lost a couple too many players, so they're not going to be able to take Spire after all, but it's a shame that they weren't able to take that off of Recco's nice play.
If Last Man Standing rotates out of this one, I think they could have made something happen, but War obviously went down in that exchange, and that was really not something they were going to like out of that one. That's right, now Sickles still down. 90 Degrees FOV eSports says where it's 9 versus, or it's 6 versus 5, sorry. I'm not casting Highlander yet, am I? So right now we can see Last Man Standing backing the way out of this one, and in a 6 versus 5 scenario, Mr. Recco is going to try and carry that stuff on his back again. He's going to be able to make his way out, and a 6 versus 6 fight most likely will ensue here on this sort of choke-ish area. So right now Forsaken picks off Salmon.
Yeah, he's actually running around behind the enemy team, so this is going to be an interesting play as 90 Degree FOV are down a player, and Recco is hiding at the enemy choke. Here he comes in now for that pick. He does get challenged, and Delzik destroys him right away. He just spotted him out before the push came in from LMS, and now the Ubers have been exchanged on the point. Not looking too good, though, for the red team, who lost their Doman Suckfer, and they're backing out choke here now.
Yeah, they're going for the big plays onto White Glow, but that guy dodges like a beast. That I can tell you that one. As they're a little bit too aggressive here. I don't really like what they're doing with that scout. Very much so trying to sort of make a play or at least get some damage in. Delay the push as much as possible, but Last Man Standing going to have none of that. Making their way through right now to that stone bridge area. One soldier's going to try and make a play onto that spire, and the double backer comes out. This was the plan from 90 Degrees FOV eSports. They're going to make their way to the double backup. Deny that point from happening, but in honesty, Suckper is going to need to get some damage done. War gets taken down, and it looks like a fantastic exchange coming out for the Reds here, Slin.
Wow, 90 Degree FOV with that scout backcap. They didn't necessarily get it right away, but the players were able to clean up their spire just long enough to push the rest of their team into mid, and Mighty Me and White Glow were not enough to stop mid. So now they've lost it, and they've lost their medic and demo here as well, so that's really crucial. 90 Degree FOV now pushing the way in towards the second point, and if you guys are just joining us now, the score is still 0-0. This has been the longest round.
Recco is behind the medic at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. If you are going to be able to pay attention, there's a knife there. That's not a scattergun, is it? Let's see if the guy's going to be able to make the play. He needs to. Or is he going to be able to make it happen? Comes down the top, sees him. Does he get spotted? Yes, there he go. Does finally get spotted. Does get taken down in the process. The Uber comes out. Well played by Koss, is popping that one out of safety. And it is a 6 versus 5 with a no Uber contestant, and they mess up the push. I think that was one of the clearest mess-ups that I've seen in a long time. They misplayed that because they went from the top and dropped down way too early. Didn't use the height and Uber advantage that they had. And Last Man Standing was just going to walk into spawn, not really going to deal with anything, and pick off the individual players right there during the remaining Uber.
Yeah, that's just a classic mistake, pushing last there. Now 90 Degrees are trying to defend the spire. Rake, you see him on Sniper. Delzik goes down to Forsaken, who trades himself down, but Rake on Sniper. Can he get these picks onto the scouts? No, doesn't get it to go. Meanwhile, the Uber has been forced in from the LMS. They're on the point now, and Suckber trying to throw pipes, but misses all of them. Mighty Me takes him down, Warhuya picks off Rakes as well, so looks like LMS gonna capture mid.
Yeah, and Captain Hacks is the lone soldier at the moment. That's a pocket soldier behind enemy lines. That's really not something you like to do at any moment in time. Gonna fight the soldier at the spawn, because in all honesty, there's really nothing else he can do. He's gonna pick up the health back and just make his way to middle. He cannot do anything else. And in the meantime, Last Man Standing takes full control of this game, at least for the time being. In all honesty, though, I've said that a couple of times already. It's been a long round, a long and dreadful round for both of these teams.
I mean, Cyclists just picked off Captain Hacks, and they're on their way. I mean, it's a man advantage that they need. Rake is on Pyro. He's sensing an Uber advantage, but actually the Ubers are perfectly even. And here comes the push now. They need to get in fast before Captain Hacks is up. They're flashing in a lot of players in on even Ubers, so I'm not sure this is the right decision by LMS. Meanwhile, a better Uber coming in from 90 degree FOV. Delzik takes down Rekko, and the Pyro is all over the combo, air blasting them. Rake and Captain Hacks picking up kills. 3 down now for LMS. They're in a lot of trouble here now as Forsaken gets cleaned up bottom left, and Cyclists and Wyclo are the only ones remaining. And Pledge, we've been seeing a back and forth match from last point to last point. What team is going to take this?
In all honesty, it is unbelievably tough to call. If you guys watched on Sunday the ESA Gamer TF2 Cup #1, we saw when two teams are very closely matched. Broder and Zaibatsu in this case, which you're going to see going up against each other again on Thursday. The rounds go all over the place. Barely anyone caps them off, and they really can go either way. And exactly that is what we see right now. Both of these teams winning one map throughout the season, lost 9. The loser basically relegates. You can see very clearly these teams are tense, and they're having difficulty executing exactly what they plan and exactly what they like to do. That was not well played by Last Man Standing whatsoever. Getting a couple of players getting killed like that can really change rounds around, but obviously with Wyclo staying alive, they're probably just going to lose 1 point off of this. Maybe the Spire, but in all honesty, I doubt that 90 Degree is going to be as aggressive as they really can.
Yeah, it was a nice bomb there by Forsaken, but he didn't get it to go. But the big mistake came from Mighty Me, who just was a little bit overextended, got picked off, and without the Devilman, LMS had no chance to hold mid. So now it's 90 Degree FOV's turn once again to try and push in the yard, and they're moving their way in now.
They're going to make their way in. Let's see if they can break this one through. It is a 5 versus 5. There's a soldier down for the pushing team and a scout down for the defending team. I understand why they're going for it, and the Uber Force comes off. Both teams pretty much equal, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to have to wait and see how exactly they do at the Spire. Both soldiers on top of the Spire for Last Man Standing. I like that. Denying scouts. One of them, Rake, even gets taken down. And Last Man Standing, they want to push, but I'm not sure if they can. They're going to try and come through the choke area, but Stickies can completely kill them off. Suckfor right now spamming that. War gets taken down, but well played by Rekko and Cyclist coming in from the flank. Take 2 of them down already, and they're still alive, ladies and gentlemen. 3 kills on the scouts already. Are they going to be able to make more, and are they going to be able to add this one to the highlight reel? Great pipe there from Mighty Me, hitting his face onto Cos, and again lands it onto Rake. The individual skill from Last Man Standing, spot on, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and I also want to highlight Rekko's incredible scout play there as well. He's doing such a great job of cleaning things up, and he is definitely one of the better players there on LMS from what I've been seeing thus far. But again, another botched opportunity from 90 Degree FOVs. Both these teams are doing a great job of taking things back, but they're not doing so well on their offensive pushes. And it's quite funny to see, but if you guys are just watching this now, this is a really important match. You know, this is a make or break opportunity for the teams to stay in Prem this season. And, you know, both teams are going really hard at it. That's what we like to see. And the Uber's coming in now from LMS. Rekko picks up 2 on Delzik and Salmon. Captain Hacks goes down to the pocket Warhuya as well. And looks like it's a bad situation now for 90 Degree FOVs, who are getting their second point capture. The combo is already in for last on LMS. And Wyclo pulls out his Uber song. Doesn't get it to go.
Oh, and here comes Rekko, ladies and gentlemen. In honesty, if there's going to be one man to finish this one out, it is probably going to be the Russian scout Rekko. He's had a fantastic round, but the spawns come in, ladies and gentlemen, and a basically unbotchable push gets botched up, Slin. That is basically what I saw right there, as Mr. Wyclo maybe a little bit too greedy on that saw, I'm not going to lie.
They just rushed it. I mean, they had players behind them capturing the Spire, and then they just pushed in like a 4-on-6 into last. It was not the right decision to go. But at least Wyclo came up first, and he went Kritzkrieg. So let's see how he does this. But the bomb comes in. Captain Hacks doesn't get it to go down to just 46 health, but it was pretty close there. Wyclo, though, is on Kritzkrieg, and he has an opportunity now. He needs to move a little bit faster. They're not even in lobby yet, and they're about to get the Kritzkrieg.
This is something I can tell you, though, is that Wyclo is the most Kritzkrieg using medic in Europe. That is the way it is. That is literally the way it is. In the Premiership, in Division 1, where he's played for years and years and years, this guy loves his crit streak. We're going to see that push happening here on last. 1 crit sticky comes in, 2 crit stickies comes in. Hasn't landed on anything significantly just yet, but the things are dying. And Last Man Standing, in the end, purely based on the damage advantage that they had, managing to pick that first round up.
Yeah, I love what they did there. I mean, Mighty Me was throwing a sticky towards the point, and it pushed the enemy players back away from it, so that way their soldiers could get on there and get that capture down. 1-0, LMS in the lead, Pledge.
Yeah, well played to LMS, picking that one up. A very back and forth round, really showing how equal both of these teams are at the moment, as Last Man Standing and 90 Degrees make their way in. Salmon gives away first blood, and that's going to give everyone from Last Man Standing the confidence in order to put some pressure down here. looks like 90 degrees not going to give on up as easily just yet. In all honesty, that might have been a little bit of a mistake. They lose the Downman in the process, and their medic now gets assassinated by Forsaken. Takes down the Pocket Soldier as well in the process. Can he make it 3? It looks like he's trying to fight onto that one, and Mr. Rake goes down there at the very end. And last man standing, it looks like they figured it out now.
Yeah, after a 13-minute first round, I mean, the second round, they just took out the medic, they rolled it in last. Warhuria is already in on last. The Uber has been popped before the Spire is captured. Not sure this is the right decision, but they're all over the cap here. This looks really bad for 90 degrees, and LMS making it 2-0.
Well played to LMS once again, and that was a very standard round per se. 90 degrees FOV eSports a little bit overextending on towards that middle. Lost a couple of players too much and then got flanked by Forsaken. As the individual play from the Latvian was able to pick up 2, including the medic. And with the advantage coming out, obviously a very clear round coming out for the Blues now. Third middle coming up. So far, Last Man Standing has been doing a better job than the Yeti. This time around, though, let's see how that bottom push from 90 degrees is going to work out.
Early bomb comes in for Forsaken, but he goes down immediately to Captain Hacks. Rekka picks up a kill onto Rake, but 90 degrees are doing a great job of playing themselves together in the valley with the heals and picking up those kills. 3 down now, Rekka down to 1 health, he's gonna get out, and Mighty Me and White Glow are the only ones alive for 90 degrees, for LMS, sorry, and 90 degrees are gonna take this mid. Finally, a good chance for them to sort of turn things around. The match was getting away from them, but they took back this mid.
Yeah, get some momentum back, really. Like, that's probably the best way of saying it. Like, they don't have a clear advantage in order to pick up this round immediately, especially not with Salmon going down pretty late in that regard. I don't think they're going to try and block this, but in all honesty, Last Man Standing, they are aggressive. They're aggressive as a team, and they're just going to try and block this one out. I don't like the scout dropping down there from 90 degrees. I'm not really sure if the lack of cap time is going to be able to bite them in the face right here, Slin. In all honesty, I think the exchange would have been a lot better if they had one guy up there, as right now they're getting flanked, everyone is down on the floor, no high ground whatsoever, and it looks like Last Man Standing by the hands of Rekka again, ladies and gentlemen. Got to be able to pick up at least the advantage here in this third round.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is a theme that we're going to be seeing throughout this match, but 90 degrees have been consistently getting an advantage and then throwing it away. They got mid, and they just had to wait for their respawners, and they pushed in without their soldiers. And they had a Demo Man Uber that was pretty poor. And LMS, with that aggressiveness that you were talking about, were able to just come in, take them over, and capture middle here as well. So now they have the full Uber advantage over cost as they're pushing the way towards second point. You do see a sniper in Rake on the Gray, but nice job here by LMS to push off of the flank.
They like doing this, right? And this is a common trend we've been seeing on Battlelands over the past week or so, that the map has been played very often in the final week of ETF2L, where European teams really start to realize if there's even the slightest chance of there being a sniper, let us make our way through to that resupply site. There's a 1 scout backup, though, this time around. I think the double scout might have been able to work out. No, there's no way Delta can cap that off. No way, as right now, the forward cap, it looks like barely going to be able to get picked up, as Subcar is going to try and hit those pipes. Forsaken's going to be able to stay alive for the time being. I think if Rake wasn't sniper there, in all honesty, that probably could have worked out. But, as it is, ladies and gentlemen, 90 degrees being pushed back to the last with a massive advantage. Now let's see what they're going to try and do with that.
I don't know. In my view, I think that was a fantastic play there by 90 degree FOV. They were on the verge of losing the entire round there with White Glow full Uber advantage, and they were able to distract him long enough to force that Uber. Now here comes the better Uber in. Salmon picks up 2 kills on a White Glow and Mighty Me. 2 key kills there. The medic and Demo Man both going down, and the back cap is trying to come in. Yeah,
double scout. 2 scouts are last. Oh no! How did 2 scouts make it through? 1 on the right and 1 on the left, Slin. That is. You cannot let that happen. There's no way you can make that. Like, you need to have someone sitting on that second resub just making sure things are covered.
That is a heartbreaker of a round there. LMS going up 3-0 after what could have been a decent round by 90 degree FOV. But yeah, that's brutal there. So now we're approaching the next mid, and you know, 90 degrees have to make this up here. We do see scout exchange going on underneath, and Rake is all over the his own train trying to take down the soldier Forsaken, but can't get it to go. Warhuria bombs in and takes down Captain Hacks, but nice job there by Salmon to bomb into the yard and take down the medic White Glow. So now all 90 degrees has to do is just stay tight together. Rake and Delzik picking up kills, and they win mid. Delzik having a fantastic game here, I might add.
Yeah, Delzik's actually playing unbelievably well. I don't even think he plays for this team in general, or at least recently he started to be an addition, or my brain is completely fluking on me at the moment. That's right, I didn't expect him to play today. That's basically as solid as I can say. But he is playing, and he's playing pretty damn fantastic. This was the 4th middle of the game, and the 3rd one that 90 degrees picked up. And the point that you made earlier about them getting an advantage and sort of fluking it out, or really walking against that LMS wall that they really cannot seem to break at the moment. It seems to bite them in the head multiple times already.
We'll see what they do here now. 40%, or sorry, 60% advantage for them over the double engineer play that's going on with LMS at last. That sentry's going to go down right away, top left. Mighty Me above the point there as a demo man, hiding and throwing stickies on towards the point to try and stop it. He's actually doing a great job of distracting them long enough, and the rest of the players from LMS were able to collapse in. And like you said, Pledge, this is a wall that 90 Degrees cannot overcome.
They don't seem to have their number on him yet. They seem to be disagreeing on the target of focus, right? They come in and they're like, focus sentry, now what? Basically, that seems to be the general theme of everything that I'm seeing from 90 Degrees at the moment. Rake's going to pick up the spy. Let's see if that's going to work out. It's going to decloak underneath that bridge. And with the kill to Sickness coming out, this could be a very good exchange from 90 Degrees. If Rake can get anything done, Uber's even get forced. And even though cost went down there, I think this exchange might still be alright for 90 Degrees if they split up and focus targets correctly from now on.
I'm watching the Rake cam, and he was just utterly confused on what to do after the Uber was popped there. Now he just got double Ubersawed by Whiteclaw, who spotted him out nicely, and the rest of the teams from 90 Degree FOV is just going to go down. This is just a really, really poor play by them. And nice job by LMS here, pushing their way out, picking up Delzik on top of the Spire, and now there's only 2 players alive for 90 Degrees to try and defend.
I still cannot get over the fact that this game is really close. Both of these teams are having a tough time breaking each other, and even their defenses, they're not splendid, but their offenses are a little bit sloppy. But apart from that, a little bit off timing from time to time as well. It is completely irrelevant though, because obviously both of these teams are the exact same skill level, and really it shows at the moment how close they are. The scoreline though could very easily be 5-0 in just 10 minutes, Slin, and that would really be a disrepresentation of everything. You see about the 3-man, is that a 3-man backup? Are you serious? That is actually going to work. And last man standing, this is the second round they're going to back up with a full Uber, Slin. When is the last time you saw this?
Yeah, this is just, I don't know, if I'm 90 Degree FOV, I'm embarrassed right now. I mean, I'm throwing away, like, maybe the second round where you lose on mid and they roll to last, that's fine, but the last 2 rounds have been lost on back caps alone. And it's really tough to see that, because, you know, they're playing so well, it's a close match like you said, but they're just not picking up on the small things that LMS are doing to take that lead.
LMS seem to have it figured out at the moment. They're not wiping at 90 Degrees at all. They're losing middle still repeatedly. And obviously now the shot from Sickles there on Delzik was absolutely fantastic. Rekko Sickles got 3 already. Can they manage to clean this one up? Look at how aggressive 90 Degrees still is. I can only assume, look at that, they're actually dropping all the way back out of this one. And they're going to play it safe for the time being. I think they just realized, you know what? We're 4-0 ahead at the moment. Let's just take it easy for a little bit. Get our medic up, get that Uber up, and just make our plays from here onwards. Yeah,
and there's just about 8 minutes left in this match, so there had to be 2-minute rounds for these for 90 Degrees to win this, and I really love the decision there by LMS. So we do see them now exchanging Uber, but no! A big mistake from Whiteclaw to drop his Devilman and his soldier, or sorry, scout, sorry, and now 90 Degrees have a chance here to take this round back. They're pushing in with the number advantage.
Yeah, they really should be able to take this one up, but obviously I did hear a sniper shot. Did I? No, I did not actually hear that one. As Mr. Captain Hacks right now drops to the floor to the shots coming out of Rekko. Really, 90 Degrees going to pick up this point. Probably going to try and be aggressive here. In honesty, they can be aggressive, they can poke out, but in honesty, are they going to wipe it again? That is my big question, because they've done this twice already coming into this game. We've seen it multiple times in that very first round, and they lose players when they really, really shouldn't. And this seems to be a theme. Okay, right, the scout sort of back up seems to be working out for them at the moment. 4-1, ladies and gentlemen, is going to come out on the board, as Delzik, maybe whilst getting a little bit lucky, getting a point on the board, which they really, really deserved.
Yeah, parking the bus is a term that we use in North America to just say, you know, just stop the game and let the time tick down. And consistently, teams that park the bus have a chance of losing rounds there and just losing that momentum that they were using to get ahead. And so, you know, with LMS parking the bus there, it seemed like 90 Degree FOV were able to pick up on that and push their way in and get that round. So let's see if they can turn this around here. Sickless getting a kill on the Captain Hacks, though. And meanwhile, 5-on-5 here. Rekko sneaks underneath the point, takes down Suckbird. Rake getting one on the Mighty Me as well. So both them have been down out of this map. 3-on-3. No medic alive on either team here as well. Rekko's the only one alive for LMS to try and make this happen, but he gets taken down by Delzik and Rake, who get this mid cap, and a nice mid there.
5 scout frags coming out of the Reds right there. Very well played by Rake and Delzik. And really, Delzik, at this moment in time, and Rekko, both of those two guys, they seem to be fighting it out. Time after time after time again. They seem to have each other's number, but the funny thing is, because they have each other's number, they're both going to die equal amounts. So right now we see the crit streak coming out from one side. What about the other side? Mr. Whiteclaw has decided, no. We're going to stay with the regular Uber. Going to use that double engineer on last once again. It worked last time. Let's see how it works against the crit streak, and honestly, it's probably going to be even more effective.
I love this decision. I mean, you're down 3 rounds. Why not just go something crazy? You have that crit streak advantage. Why not try and use it? The difference is, though, in Europe, you guys have the double engineer rule allowed, and crits doesn't do anything against sentry guns.
No, obviously, they're not going to use 2 sentry guns. That's usually the way it is. You're going to use 2 NGs, build that one up very quickly, and now they're going to try and crit streak in. They're going to come down from the bottom, and they are going to spot the sentry, but in all honesty, the damage obviously comes out. War goes down, 3 kills so far instead of 1, and we can see that 90 Degrees might be able to turn this game around. That sentry's still on the way, now gets taken down. Yes, White Glow, you can Uber whatever the hell you want, but your team is spawning in 10 seconds, dude. That point is going to get capped. It takes a long time, but in the end, ladies and gentlemen, the point is going to come down. 4-2 is the scoreline, and that weird comeback momentum loss scenario which you were talking about hypothetically might actually come out right now.
Maybe, yeah. That was an incredible play there by Salmon. He knew exactly what to do. He jumped towards the point, jumped above it on top of that lamp, and then the crit streak drew all the players to the point and took everybody out there. Great play by 90 Degree FOV. They're down 2 rounds. We'll see if they can bring it back. About 4 minutes left in this match here now as we approach this next mid.
Let's see if 90 Degrees is going to be able to pick up the next middle in their sort of row of middle victories. As Sickness picks up a double already, it looks like last man standing this time around is going to be able to come out on top. But the aggression, the positional aggression that you can see coming out is just absolutely insane. As 90 Degrees, they hate their own side of the middle, man. That's the way it is. And in the end, it looks like, oh my god, White Glow gets the aerosol there onto Rake. And that Sol might actually end up proving very, very valuable. If White Glow would have died there, that would have just completely turned this game upside down.
Well, that and also Koss and Sukber are on Kritzkrieg. So this is a Kritzkrieg who has middle versus a full Uber. And let's see how this works here now as Sukber is pushing his way towards the choke there. We see Huya coming in around to try and get that force, but he doesn't know it's on crits yet. Salmon picking up Rekko in the house. And now here comes that crits. Uber is popped though. Nice job there by White Glow. They're down a player. Can they defend this now? Is the little pipe on pipe battle happening in the yard? Salmon picks up a kill on the Sickless on the Spire here. And wow, here comes 90 Degrees collapsing in and getting the picks that they need. Delzik taking down the demo and Mighty Me, and now LMS are down 3 players. 90 Degree FOV are gonna get Spire.
This is much better play. Like Slin, if you can think back about the Spire that they played a couple of rounds ago, you saw very, very clearly the way that they didn't take the high ground, and you see straight off the way they took the high ground, the way they didn't let Forsaken just spam down from the top. They put the pressure down on him with the matters of Rake and Captain Hacks, and as soon as they did that, ladies and gentlemen, they got themselves the advantage. They pushed their way through there, and now the comeback, ladies and gentlemen, is in the making.
Yeah, the comeback kids here. This is looking like an American score right now. Pledge 4-3. Looks like LMS are basically on match point now. As Forsaken sneaks around underneath, gets a good rocket there on the demo man, but doesn't get it to go. 90 Degree FOV again winning these mids, and they are doing a great job here of holding on to that advantage, getting the picks they need, taking out the Scout Soldier and demo man, and then just winning mid and staying tight together. And now they're just forcing LMS out of yard. They should be able to get a free Spire here.
From 90 Degrees, I think 90 Degrees FOV at this moment in time, from the 8 middles that have been played, they've won 6, if not more. They've done an unbelievably good job playing the middles positionally, very aggressively, not giving LMS a time to breathe and take it easy at all. Now they're going to rush their way into last. Are we going to see the 4-4 on the board? Not for the next 20 seconds or so, that is going to be for sure. And let's see if LMS is going to be forced to come down there. Yes, they are, as War now blocks out the demo. That is going to be a great play, and I like this defense that last man standing so far showed up. Don't get back capped again, though, right? You saw they actually went for that option. 90 Degrees going to back their way out of here, and with Koss still alive, the dream of a golden cap or even a victory here on Battlelands is going to stay alive just for the time being.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's counting Uber on the red team, but they just had no idea that it was even Ubers there. They just flashed way too many players in. I don't think it was so much of a good defense by LMS, it was just a better Uber there, and 90 Degree FOV kind of just threw that one away once again. But here they are again, even Ubers, they do have control of lobby,
seconds.
And yeah, they just need to, well, they have plenty of time here, and yeah, you're right, 90 seconds, but they have time for, you know, 1 and maybe 2 more exchanges.
Yeah, that definitely. They're going to try and spam someone on the right, and really, oh my god, they get it! And really, that is something absolutely crucial. Delzik now onto the back of that side, and it's a 2-for-1 exchange. The Delman from NMS is already down, and 90 Degrees, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe that they lost their medic. Was it a drop, or was it just a 99%? No. From what I think, 90% might have been the Uber exchange that they actually had, as one soldier's going to try and come in from the top. Great shot there from War, and really now, what we need now, what 90 Degrees needs right now is a play, and Rake has decided what better way to do that than to force something with that spy.
Yeah, I mean, they have to go for the back cap here. 40 seconds, they're not even going to have enough time to get the a legitimate push off. But you saw, again, they're just throwing these away. Like, I can tell if there's a superior team, you know, they're playing tight together, they're winning the mids, they're doing everything right, except for they're missing the little things, and they just threw that one away right there, pushing themselves in before they had the Uber. It's just like a stupid mistake, and now they're jumping again, their soldier towards the point. Looks like Delzik and Salmon are messing this one up, though, losing 2 of their players early on here, and it's just a couple seconds left now. LMS popping their Uber, and this is just going to be it here, I think. Cost, though, just 15% away. Rake, meanwhile, playing a spy on the top left. They can do this. There's a heavy sitting on the point.
10 seconds? Really? Can you do this in 10 seconds? They're going to try, Slin. Yeah, can they really do this? It looks like 5 seconds left on the board. They need to get the kills. Is it going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? It looks like no. No, they cannot do it as the 4-3 comes out. Sickless did not go down. The pipes from Suckport were not hitting their targets. And 1, 2, or maybe 3 pipes even would have been able to clinch that one out. But last man standing, holding on by an inch. And there's nothing more than an inch that separated these two teams. And last man standing is going to pick up this first map. No golden cap needed. That is 3 points in the back for the team in blue. And the one thing I can say is that White Glow has 108 points. And Slin, I don't know if your American rule set allows you to understand how much that is, but that is a bajillion points for a medic.
It's a lot. I mean, it's considerably more points than cost. But, you know, we all know that points don't matter. What happens is the final score. And I am upset because 90 Degree had that match tied up. Like, they were on last, they were doing a classic mistake that they've been doing all match long, which was just forcing the point too early. They dropped down, and you saw that their Devilman just went to the point and pulled out the pipes. Why would you do that when you had a spy medic? You could just bait them there and use stickies to win the match right there. Meanwhile, their medic as well, Koss, didn't pull out the Uber saw to try and finish out the frag. He was sitting on last with an Uber as the time was ticking down, and you can't capture last when you have an Uber out. So it was just a couple like little things that they just changed that. They would have tied that round up, and from the pushes into last to, you know, just botching some pushes and rushing them too much. I think their transitional play could improve, but still a great match from them. It was close, 4-3 Pledge.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was really close. You know, LMS looked like they almost threw it away, but so close.
LMS is going to be able to pick this one up as last man standing gets the first 3 points out of this official of a total of 6, which makes sure that they at least feel a little bit safe. Gully Wars still up for grabs though, guys, and I'm expecting as close of a game coming out of these ones. These teams are unbelievably even, and let's see what's going to happen here in Gully Wars. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, after about 30 seconds to a minute or so, myself, Slin, and obviously Warden on the camera are going to be able to break down the action and make our way on over to Gully Wars, where we see both of these teams fight against relegation, guys. Don't go anywhere.